Hi everybody, my name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club, and today we're going to be checking out this cool portable solar generator. This is made by ITEHIL. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be pronounced some way, but I'll put that up there for you. And this is a 500 watt pure sine wave inverter. On this guy, it has 512 watt hours of power. It can accept solar. It has lithium iron phosphate batteries, which will last up to 10 years. Which is really cool. So let's check this guy out. This was sent to me for free to review, so I've been playing with it for about 3 months. I put it through a bunch of tests, running a refrigerator and little coolers and all kinds of stuff like that. So without further ado, why don't we just jump straight into it, and we'll check out the unboxing, the features, the tests, and you can decide if this is something that you'd be interested in. If you are, there is an Amazon link down below, take you straight over there, and also a link to their website. If you're interested, that's in the description below. Let's jump right into it. All right, so as we open the box here, you're going to see we have the product package inside. It does have a really nice little accessory bag for keeping all of the little accessories and plug-in adapters and stuff in one spot, and the manual. We'll go over that in more detail in a minute. And as we look into the rest of the box, you just pretty much have the unit itself. And that's all there is to it. So inside the little accessory bag, we do have your AC power brick, your AC charger. You're going to have your MC4 cable for charging solar. You have a car charging outlet. You also have a 15 millimeter DC to car cigarette lighter adapter and your power brick all in one spot along with your manual. So that's very, very cool. Now this is the power button that you'll use to turn on the unit. Next to that is the light control switch for activating the side light. This activates all of your AC outlets, and the other button activates all your DC outlets. Two USB 2 ports right there at 10 watts, a USB 3 port at 20 watts, USB-C at 60 watts, and your DC 5525 port there, and then both of your solar in ports. You're also going to have this 10 amp cigarette lighter adapter port, and your two AC ports right there for 120 volts at 500 watts out of that pure sine wave inverter. You're going to have an aluminum alloy and plastic case. And on the side here, you can see there's the light that we're talking about. It's a little 3-watt LED, puts out plenty of light. Also has an SOS function to it, so it will blink SOS in Morse code. And on the back, you do have a lot of good information about how much power each outlet will put out and all the ports. The other side reveals just another little air intake port for the fans to keep everything nice and cool. And then on the front, you can see pretty much everything there. And the display is quite nice, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But all in all, a pretty well-rounded, nice setup, and it comes in at about 18 pounds. Now, the plugs may look a little unconventional. I think they're set up to work for the US and the UK, so a 240 or 110 setup. But as you can see, my model does fit a normal 3-prong or 2-prong plug, as you can see in this picture here, and we'll also see later. So you do have the light on the side, a nice display, tons of good features inside. For the charging ports right here, you can use your 100-watt solar panel. You can use your wall outlet in, or basically your AC brick, or a car outlet, and that's going to go in right there from a cigarette lighter adapter. And then, of course, if you're using solar, you can go into that other port as well. This unit has a lot of different protections going on. So it does have over temperature protection. It has over discharge protection, over current protection, over load protection, short circuit protection, and over voltage. So there's pretty much not anything you can do to really mess this guy up, because everything is pretty well safeguarded, which I definitely like. You can fully charge it in 4.5 hours using the maximum input. It does have lithium iron phosphate batteries, which is great. They're very safe, they're very stable. You can get a lot of cycles out of these guys, probably about 10 years if you're using it every single day. And that's probably only to 80% capacity, but that's really, really good. They're going to last a very, very long time. This is probably designed for charging laptops, phones, a TV, a blender, a little pellet grill, or drone batteries and stuff like that, DSLR cameras, and possibly even a mini fridge and stuff like that. I actually used it to run my full-size double-door LG fridge, and it did quite well. But usually designed for smaller electronics, camping, and stuff like that. What I really like about this solar panel is that it has a little power brick on the back that you can use to actually plug into the DC port is 18 volts. You can plug that into your solar power generator itself, or it has a USB 3.0 and a USB 2.0 that you can use to charge anything with a USB power cable. So a phone, a laptop, anything like that, up to 10 watts, I believe 15 watts, something like that, depending on what you're charging. But that's really cool that you can actually charge devices using only the solar panel, which make it very, very cool. I just like that. It's a really nice addition to have on your solar panel. And it fits down very small, and it's very portable and easy to carry, very lightweight. So I definitely enjoy the solar panel upgrade as well. So one of the first tests I put this through was hooking it up to a small tire compressor, because believe it or not, I've had problems using this in the past where it actually blew the fuse or the entire module of the DC cigarette lighter component, airing up a car tire. So that's the first thing I tested. This was able to air up all my car tires just fine, and it's still functioning just perfectly. So successful test there. Now we're going to see if it can run my giant double door LG refrigerator. I've got this all rigged up in the basement, and I'll show you what we're doing down here. So my fridge is hooked up to the solar wall there. When I turn this guy on, power on the AC inverter, it's going to have our little watt meter there. And when I turn on this switch on the wall, that extension cord goes to the refrigerator. So as I power this up, right here, you can see that the refrigerator kicks on at about 300 watts plus, but then it's going to go down and kind of fluctuate all around, as we'll see in the time lapse here. So as soon as this time lapse starts, you can see that the normal voltage that we're using is around 60 watts to 100 watts. But every once in a while, the compressor will jump way up there to like 320 watts or something like that. But at the end of the test here, after we let this run, and you can see where our power level's going down and down and down. And once that completely turns off, we'll look at the last frame before we lost power. And what we end up with is 2 hours, 53 minutes, so about 3 hours. And we used about 364 watt hours out of that 500 watt hour battery, just due to inverter losses. But it did pretty well considering that it was running that giant refrigerator. Now for this next test, what we're going to do is I'm going to just basically have this running a tablet that you can see lit up in blue in the top left there. Also a little LED light, and this Dometic electric cooler, and also the phone that's recording the time lapse, which is a Galaxy S9 phone. So it's going to be running a tablet, a phone, and also this AC cooler here by Dometic. So I'm going to hook up the time lapse. Now the problem here is that the cooler actually cooled off very fast because my basement is cold. So I supplemented that with a 60 watt light bulb, since the Dometic was using about 60 watts to begin with. And that's going to just simulate if it was working properly. And we'll retest that in a minute, but we'll let this test run anyway. And if you want to, you can get rid of the 30 minutes, that was there when the cooler was actually cooled off. But what we end up with here at the end of this time lapse, I'm going to again wait for it to kick off, then use the last frame. And what we're going to end up with is 6 hours and 47 minutes running at about 60 watts. That's a tablet, a phone, and a light bulb that's 60 watts. And we ended up with 372 watt hours yet again, which is pretty conducive with our refrigerator test. Now I'm going to take the cooler outside, and as you can see here, I have the GoPro camera, which is plugged in. I have a small phone. I have the Dometic cooler, and we're going to be using the 100 watt solar panel to see if we can just run all of this with the power of the sun. So let's talk about the solar panel for a second before we hook all of that up. You can see that it comes with adapters, carabiners to hang it up, the power module in back that you can use to actually charge things directly off the panel, and those cool little Velcro kickstands to help hold it up. It's a very nice construction. It seems very sturdy. I really like this panel. It's actually pretty darn cool in my opinion. And in the back, what we're going to do is take out the wire. You're going to plug that into the little power module. And don't forget to take your little power adapters there, because you will need those to plug into the solar generator itself. So we're going to put up the little folding legs, set that in the sun, make sure it's unfolded, and go over here and plug this in. Now, in order to do that, that does not fit directly into the unit, so you do need to use one of the power adapters. It's the little one with the white tip there. So we're going to go ahead and take that one off and push it on there, and that's going to enable us to put it into the solar generator itself. So here we go. We have our GoPro, we have our phone, we have the cooler. We're going to run all of that with the solar panel plugged in. Now the phone's at like 50%. We're turning on the cooler to full. The GoPro is at 50%, so we'll be charging everything at least for a little while. And our solar panel will be in sun for a lot of this, but that's okay. We're going to see if it can, start in shade and then jump back up to full speed here. And we are fast charging on that phone, by the way, because we're connected to the USB 3 port, and so it is definitely fast charging. Now, when we started this, the solar power generator was at 90%. That display gives me all kinds of trouble showing you guys with the frame rates. But it was at 90%. We're actually pulling in 87 watts of solar from that 100 watt panel. So that's very, very good. And we're actually outputting at about 54 watts. I know you can't tell, but you'll have to take my word for it. And the temperature outside on the cooler is 81 degrees. And I do have some cans of V8 in there that we will take a temperature of later. So for 4 hours, it sat in 82 degree temperatures. So 4 hours. And the solar panels have been in the shade now for about an hour. And we're at 91%. So it actually went up to 99% and then back down to 90 when the shade hit. But that's an absolute perfect test. We were able to absolutely run the GoPro camera, charge a cell phone, and run that cooler in the sun. And even though it's cooled off to 62 degrees now, it was 81 as I showed you. If we look inside the cooler, we're showing 44 degrees, which is awesome. So it kept those drinks completely cool in 4 hours of sun, about 3 hours of sun, and it did very well. We ran all of those things with the power of the sun, so it performed very, very well during this test. So it's been working pretty well. I've had it for 3 months. I haven't had any problems with it so far whatsoever. With other units that I've tested, airing up a car tire has blown the fuses in that little cigarette lighter port, so that's why I tried it on this unit, and it's still working just fine. I don't know why I couldn't show the display very well with my camera frame settings. It was just being a pain, but that display is really nice. It has incoming solar, outgoing wattage, tons of great information. The unit itself has lots of protection, so there's not much you can do to screw anything up. Everything's pretty well protected, and the lithium iron phosphate batteries are huge. With over 3,000 cycles, you could use that for 8.5 years every single day, and your batteries would still have 80% capacity after that. So this is going to last a really long time. Solar panel is one of my favorites. I really like all the adapters that come with it. It was getting 87 watts in full sun out of 100. That's great. And I like the way that it's put together. Suitcase, and it's easy to carry. I like the way it's set up. And I think that's kind of my favorite is the solar panel, but it also powers the generator itself quite well, and I haven't had any problems with it nor complaints. The plugs are a little unusual, but they do fit 3-prong and 2-prong outlets here in the States, and I think if they tweak the voltage, that probably makes it easier for them to sell in the UK and stuff like that. So not a big deal for me. I've been enjoying it. I don't really have too many cons with it, and if anything ever goes wrong with it, look in the description below, and I will update you if I ever have any problems with any of this stuff. So that being said, I think it's pretty cool. If you are interested, there will be an Amazon affiliate link down below that'll take you over to Amazon, or their website link that will take you directly to their website, where you can get the unit itself, the solar panel itself, or a combo of each one. So I think that about wraps it up. If this was helpful, please like, share, subscribe, click the little notification bell. That really helps me out. And that's it. So until the next video, my name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club. Thanks so much for watching, and happy camping.